Hello, everyone. Kevin Ducey once again here with the Top Producer Spotlight for Whiteboard. We're so lucky to be joined today by my friend, Mr. Barry Habib, a legend in the industry with MBS Highway. Barry, thank you so much for joining me today. How are you, sir?
I'm great, Kevin. It's always good to be with you.
You as well. I've had the pleasure of hearing you speak a few times this year. I made the joke that I've refinanced my house 4 times. My wife's going to kill me if we do it one more time, because every time I listen to you speak, I'm just so fired up about the opportunities that are out there. Tell me, I've heard you talk a lot about where the market is going in the next 12 to 18 months. Could you briefly share with some folks that are out there listening and want to get some information about where you see the mortgage industry in the next year or so?
Well, thanks, man. Yeah, you're right. It is a really good opportunity right now for people. I guess if you were to just pray to the mortgage gods, say, I wish that rates were really attractive. Well, you got that. You also got the fact that the housing market's very healthy. And you also have the fact that people have equity in their homes that they can do things with if the person handling their mortgage acts as an advisor and a debt manager. So what we see today is rates are very good. They're not quite as low where they were. Now, I did make a call and say that the 10-year would come down to about 1.39. It came to 1.42 and it was all the way up over 2.5%. So it got pretty darn close on that one. But I think that rates will make another turn lower, but that will probably coincide with a recession. A lot of people think that there's not a recession in sight. Some people think that it's going to happen sooner. Some people think 2020 is a good period of time. I happen to think, and I've been saying this for a long time, that 2020 to me seems like a time where we probably have a probability of a recession. Recessionary periods mean that interest rates will decline, and they will decline pretty significantly. So that's going to be a great refinance opportunity. It also means that the home prices should hang in there pretty good because rates will drop. So the housing market's very good right now. If you want to know, where the housing market is heading or what it looks like, take a look at your local market's median home price. And if you're below the median home price, that housing market is very, very hot. It's going to stay hot. The further up you go from the median home price, the market starts to slow down. So around median home price, super hot. A little bit above median home price, still really hot. But as you get further and further and further away, the market does cool off. And that's probably what things will continue to look like, even if we hit a recessionary period where that that's median home price and below is going to stay hot, and the further up you go from it will be cooler. Now, if you take a look at the fact that people have equity in their homes, and Kevin, I'm going to tell you something that's a shocker here, is that if you were to take a look at the average, this came out 3 weeks ago from the Federal Reserve, average loan to value of an existing home today, this is just almost mind-boggling. It's 36%. That doesn't mean 36% equity. That means that 64% of the home's value is equity. And if you took just a no-brainer cash out refi to a 75, that means if you look at somebody's home today, the amount you could pull out is close to 40% of that value. But obviously you have to have a good structure for that. And if you were to take a look at their debts, which by the way, according to CNBC, debt levels in the United States, highest they've ever been in our nation's history. So it's not in the mortgage, it's in consumer debt. Then what we will see occur is the opportunity to structure their debts correctly, save them a bunch of money, and instead of giving it to them to blow it, maybe incorporate that into a new lower term mortgage or make them voluntarily pay down the new mortgage. And the results are that people can wind up paying for their kids' college, can have enough money for retirement, can have a different life altogether if they were to just have a debt manager handle their transaction the right way. And I bring this up just as a big answer to your question as to what do we see. I see FinTech coming in and making inroads. Even if they do it poorly, they still are going to take market share just because of their advertising muscle, just because of their ability to garner relationships where they will get referrals. You see it happening every day. And just for the sheer amount of venture capital money that is being put to work with these companies. Look, venture capital, where are they going to put money? The stock market is at all-time highs, yes, but so are valuations. It is pricey. There's not a lot of yield out there. So venture capital is kind of pumping money into areas that it sees as opportunities. And these FinTech companies will take market share. So what we have to do is we have to convert more opportunities and be that debt manager to our customers. So that's kind of where I see the market.
And Barry, for folks to get this information from you, they don't have to go see you on every speaking tour. They don't need your personal cell phone. You provide this tool for them through MBS Highway. Can you talk to the folks a little bit out there that might not be completely aware of what you offer there and maybe how to go about obtaining it?
Well, we do a lot at MBS Highway, and I think people might think that, you guys do a really good job of helping us see where the market's heading and giving us alerts and things like that. Yeah, of course we do that, but it's a tiny fraction of our business. We do some amazing comparative tools. We have tools that help you post videos, give you scripts, turn your computer into a teleprompter. We have all kinds of analytical tools, all kinds of marketing tools that are pretty incredible. So it's very robust. You almost have to see it to believe it. And the result is that pretty much everybody who sees it is like, oh my God, I had no idea. And how easy it is to use, how intuitive it is, and how impactful it can be on your business. You know, the biggest thing that we could say from us is our corporate renewal rates is an insane number. It's almost one that's not even believable, but we've been tracking this for the past 6 years. Our year-over-year renewal rates are greater than 97%. It either means we're way too cheap, or it means that we're providing enough value to where people want to keep renewing. We think we're giving people value that's moving the needle. That's what people continue to tell us, is that it makes a tremendous difference.
Well, that's impressive. As somebody that's in a similar industry, right, of the subscription and renewal basis, 97% is through the roof. So congratulations to you and you guys out there doing that. Great job. Now, Barry, I want you to, if you were to take yourself back to when you started out and maybe think of yourself as a young LO, is there any tip that you could give somebody out there that's been in the business, say, less than 5 years?
Yeah,
Advice.
So Kevin, it's a great point, and it's one that I think it's a really smart question to ask. It's easy for me to answer this question because I've talked a lot about this, and it's even in my book, Money in the Streets. So when I first started in the business, it was hard. You know, it's hard for any LO that's starting in the business to build a customer base and to gain the confidence of realtors. And let's face it, this is a tough business to learn. So we're prone to make mistakes, and realtors know that. So they don't want to trust their transaction, might be the only transaction that they're doing this month or quarter for that matter, in the hands of someone who maybe doesn't give them the best chance of seeing that transaction consummate into a commission. So it's difficult. So the first advice I would give you is that anybody that you give money to is a potential audience. So here's what I mean by that. Your hair cutter, the pizza place, the sandwich place, your gym, your dentist, your accountant, your doctor. These are referral sources that you're going to have a captive audience, and they'll have to listen to you. And by the way, this advice doesn't just apply to if you're new, it applies to everyone. I talk about this in my book too. I used to do that to the extreme because when I first started in the mortgage business, I was a young man, and as young men do, sometimes you make a little bit crazy decisions and you don't think it through. Well, my twins, Dan, who you know, and my daughter, Nicole, they were just born. They were 2 months old. And I changed careers. And when I found how realtors were not going to start just throwing business at me because I walked in the door, I was not going to quit, and failure was not an option. So what I literally did was I wound up knocking on people's doors, and it became a successful way to do business, although it's very difficult. But I also used these techniques like anybody I gave money to the extreme, Kevin, that when I would drive in New Jersey, on some of the highways which had tolls, and before we had these automated toll collection methods, you actually had to throw a coin in a basket if you had exact change. If you didn't, you'd have to give them the cash and get change. Well, I had the coin, but instead of going to the basket, what I did was I would actually go to a toll collector, so it was a real person that I was giving money to, give him the coin, give him my card, and very quickly, because I only had a few seconds, say, hey, if I could help create wealth and save you some money, please just give me a call. And that was all I could say. And my friends would laugh at me as we did this and how silly it was and how we were now slowing down the trip. But a guy by the name of Steve Horton wound up calling me, and not only did I do his refinance, but I did 17 of his colleagues that were all toll collectors. So these types of techniques of talking to people whom you give money to because you have a captive audience, they really, really work. So if you're a new loan officer out there, these are things that you need to consider. These are things you need to do, but you also have to have education. Remember this, this game is about conversion. It's about conversation to application. So if you're getting fewer opportunities because you're new, then you have to, and this applies to everybody once again, this stuff applies to every single one of us out there in sales. You have to convert more of the opportunities you have, whether you have a lot of opportunities or not so many opportunities, increase your closing percentage of conversation application. I know this sounds like a shocker, but it's documented the average in the mortgage industry is around 10%. So they'll talk to 10 people, turn it into one mortgage application. If you're in a call center, it's around 2%. You have to talk to 50 people to get one mortgage application. If you do 4% in the call center industry, you're a rock star. You're going to be promoted to manager, okay? That's how good 4% is in the call center side of things. So what we really need to do is work on our skills. So record your conversations, review them, see where you went right, see where you went wrong, but also have education. You have to build trust very quickly. Psychologically, people will make the decision of whom they're going to do business with very quickly and then kind of justify it to themselves. It's how we all do business with somebody. You know in the first 10 minutes if you like that person, and if you're rooting for them, if you like them, if you trust them, then you can deal with the fact if they're not the cheapest, okay? You can be forgiving, but if you don't like them and there's something in your heart that's I don't really, even if their pricing is good, you'll be picky and you'll find things. We all do this when we're the consumer. So let's remember that when we're dealing with a consumer and we're now the advisor and we're talking with them, in those first 10 minutes, let's be scripted, let's be rehearsed, but let's bring something to the table of value. You build trust two ways. One is with your knowledge. So if you're a new person in the industry, you can make up a lot of ground by gaining knowledge, because a lot of people in this industry, they unfortunately don't continuously want to grow. So you can make up a lot of ground there. And the other is, believe it or not, by telling them everything bad. And here's what I mean by that. When you work with a client, instead of selling them, make believe they were your parent, your child, your best friend, your brother, your sister, somebody you really care about. And what you're doing is using your knowledge and expertise to show them what to look out for. And that builds a bond of trust. And if they trust you, if your rate's not the best, a lot of times you'll be able to overcome that because you've gained their trust. So that's the advice I'd give to anyone. And that's the advice if you're somebody who's new in this business, who's trying to grow, that I think that this will serve you very well throughout your entire career.
Barry, I can't thank you enough for the tidbits you've dropped on our plate today. It's stuff that I use. When I saw you speak the last time, you talked about recording your conversations. I've done it with my team now. We're recording demos. We review them every Friday to make ourselves better. I thank you for that. You've helped me grow as a leader. You help our organization grow. But I did want to refer back to one point that you made, and you made it a couple times in some different ways. We talked about the recession possibly coming in 2020 and capitalizing on every lead that's out there. You said it before, is that you can grow in a recession. You can really grow your business, but you got to capitalize on those leads. You got to increase that conversion rate. And I think that I'm going to speak to our customers here, because that's who we're going to share it with this initially, is that make sure that you get those campaigns turned on. Let that automation handle that. Don't let any of those leads slip through the cracks, because we know you're busy. Turn on those automated texting platforms. And if you're not a customer of ours and you're a customer of somebody else, make sure you get that automation going, because you have to text and email.
But Kevin, I want to tell you that I am so impressed with your system, because I think where you really excel, you excel in so many different areas, okay? But just initially, right, at the first step is you got to almost fall in love with it because of how easy it is and how simple it is just to engage and enter a client, whether you import them, whether you enter it manually. It's so easy to do and it's so quick to do. It becomes conversational as you're talking to the customer, you boom, and then they're in. And then I love the intelligence that it serves and the ability to have things just automatically generate by email, by text. You can customize what you want sent out. It is really a powerful tool that's so simple and easy to use. And that's what this is all about. If you have that lead, if you want to convert that lead to an application, there's a part of this that's tenacity. Okay, you have to stay on it. And when I was originating loans, I wish I had a tool like yours to make that so much more efficient and easy, because I was doing all of that work. All the things that you're doing, I did, but I could only imagine how much more help I could have offered to other families and how much greater production I could have had if all that time that I used to be tenacious and follow up were done automatically. So that would have freed me up to do even more of the things that would have generated greater income and greater help to other families.
Well, Barry, thank you so much for your kind words. We appreciate it. Nobody better to say it in this industry than you, sir. Folks, if you're out there, if you're listening, if you watch this today, I can't encourage you enough to go to MBS Highway, check out their stuff. It is simple, it is affordable, it will make you money. Barry, once again, thank you so much, sir. I appreciate your time today.
Thank you, my friend. Thank you.
Sir. Thank you.